Hi, I'm Jan, an audiologist at My Hearing Center in Boynton Beach and Palm Springs, Florida. Have you ever been asked by somebody, why can't you hear me in this restaurant when you could hear me in a different restaurant last week? Have you been asked that question? If you have, let's talk a little bit about noise and what noise does and how I can help you with that noise and going to restaurants and parties and being with your loved ones. So noise is very interesting. It bounces. It's constantly moving. It's constantly changing. Think of it kind of like small little pieces of confetti. When you throw them up in the air, they land. And if you try and throw them up in the air again, they're going to land in different places, right? It's not going to be exactly the same. That's what happens with noise. It moves, it changes, depending upon what's going on in the area. Noise also changes based upon the acoustics of what's going on in the room. The acoustics are the hard surfaces. If there's lots of hard surfaces, you get echo. Noise gets worse, it doubles, it triples in sound. And when you've got soft surfaces like rugs or curtains around you, that dampens the noise. So let's talk now about the brain and noise. You've heard me talk before about brain hearing. It's 2 ears and a brain. It's a system that works together. Your brain always wants to know where you are. It's constantly doing that. Are you in a large room? Are you in a small room? Is there a high ceiling? Is there a low ceiling? You know, it's interesting because I could put you in an auditorium, close your eyes, and have you say one word, hi. And you would say to me, I'm in a very large room with nobody in it. And yet I could do that same thing, put you in this large auditorium, fill it with people, have you say that same word, hi, and your brain would know that there are people in that room, and therefore that absorbs some of the sound. So your brain is constantly looking. It wants to know where you are. It wants to know what's around you at all times. It wants to know, is there a truck behind you? Is there somebody walking behind you? Are they to the sides? Are they in front of you? So noise changes constantly. And the brain, 2 ears and the brain hearing, constantly wants to know that. So when you come in, and let's say I evaluate your hearing, and I put on a pair of demo devices for you, the best technology out there handles that noise the best you possibly can. It still allows you to hear it because the brain wants to know what's going on around you 360 degrees, but it makes it softer. When you change in technology and devices, it handles that background noise a little bit differently. But remember, I want you to know that there's a truck behind you or there's somebody walking behind you. Cutting that out is not what the brain wants. The brain wants to know what's going on around you. So why are restaurants different? Why is it that you could hear last week in a restaurant, yet today or tonight somebody says to you, how come you can't hear? Because of the noise. Remember, the noise bounces. It changes. It's like the confetti. It never falls in the same spot. The noise levels may be different. The acoustics, the hard surfaces, may be very, very different. But what you need if you have a hearing loss is the best hearing aid to help you hear in those noisy environments. So a couple of things to know also about noise before we get to devices. But as far as noise goes, you know, there are times when it is not noise that is disturbing you. Noise you think of as a machine. You may think of it as people eating and you're hearing the bang of the silverware. But noise can also be somebody else's speech. Because if to the sides of you people are talking, or let's say behind you they're talking, and they're talking loudly, that is noise to you. You don't want to hear that conversation. You want to focus on this person that's to your right, to your left, in front of you, and that conversation behind you. That speech is your noise. So think of noise as being a wide variety of things. It's not just silverware banging and glasses banging in a restaurant. It can be speech also. So I want you to come on in to see me, and let's talk a little bit about your hearing loss, if you have one. Let's assume you don't have a hearing loss. I'll give you some tips and tricks to be able to help you hear better in those restaurants. But if you have a hearing loss, let's do something about it. Let's go ahead and demo a device. Let's talk about what I can do to help you hear better in the variety of situations that you may be in. And although we might not be going to restaurants today due to COVID, we might in 6 months or 8 months. And there still is noise around you. Don't think of, if you're not going to a restaurant, there isn't noise. Remember, there's noise around us at all times. And I want you to be able to hear the best. So come see me. Come for your free evaluation, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about where your challenges are. Is it in noise? Is a loved one saying to you, you're not hearing me very, very well. Let's do something about it. Do something about it together. Come see me. Thanks a lot. I hope to see you in my office soon. Bye.